In this video, I'm going to show you how to get better footage with a smartphone gimbal using the DJI Osmo Mobile 7. And I'm going to go through and shoot an entire cinematic sequence with you so that you get a variety of interesting B-roll shots to put in your video. All right, let's get into it. Let's talk about gimbal movement and how you actually work with a gimbal. So I have the 7 with me right here, but you could do this with the 7P. It doesn't really matter. So you have the 3 motors which keep the camera's completely stable, and you move your body in a way through whatever you're seeing to get smooth footage. Now, one thing to note, a gimbal doesn't guarantee that you get smooth footage. You have to actually have intention with your movements. And so let me show you what I mean by that. Let's go over here. So if I was to get a shot of this area over here, let's put it to the wide lid so you can see where I'm at. I've got this archway. If I wanted to get a shot of this and you wanted just a smooth shot, say you're making a video about traveling and hiking to this area, and this is some, I don't know, abandoned place. And so you're like, oh, cool, I want to make a video showing this. If you were to walk in and not really pay attention to your gimbal moves, well, you might just kind of come in here and I'm going to walk over here. And as I'm walking, I'm just kind of like looking up here, looking down there. This is cool. There's some broken stuff here. There's that. Look at this rock structure. Some trees over there. And the shot that you get isn't very good. Like, it's just kind of squirrely. It's all over the place. There's no rhyme or reason for why you're moving the camera the way that you're moving it. And so it's not going to look very professional. And one of the reasons you get a gimbal is so that you have more professional look. It's stable. It looks clean. But the other part of it is the intentionality of each movement. So you want to think through your shots. You want to think, why am I using this gimbal? Why do I want this smooth? You don't just want to go willy-nilly all over the place and just kind of like get a shaky shot. Even though the camera's stable, it's still shaky if it's all over the place and jerky. It's not going to look good. We want to try to think like a filmmaker and make professional looking footage, because that's ultimately going to make your video stand out. And there will be times where you might move the gimbal faster. That's why you have some faster action. You can bump up the speed, but you still do it with intentionality. So let me give you a couple ways that you can work with this gimbal to make it smoother and make it more intentional. So let's first talk about the gimbal walk. So when you're walking with a gimbal, we're just gonna go straight this way, and I'm gonna hold the trigger so it's gonna lock, and we're just gonna move forward. So I'm just gonna move forward towards that scene. If you don't do it with intention, let's get the shot there, lock it. So if you don't do it with intention, and you're just kind of letting your hand move as you walk, well, this is the shot that you're gonna get. And so I'm not paying attention to how my hand's moving, I'm just walking forward. And unfortunately, that's gonna give you a shot that has a lot of this bounce. So you have 3 motors, it's gonna keep your footage stable, but there is 4 axes of movement. And the 4th is your arm. So to move, to get stable shots while you're walking, you wanna try to keep your body in a position that keeps your arm in the same plane of motion as we walk. You want to go in a straight line. So one way to do that is the heel toe method. And this is probably the easiest way to walk with a gimbal. So instead of letting yourself bounce up and down as you walk, you want to try to keep your body, your upper body still. And so you could heel toe your feet while putting a little bend in your legs. And what that will do is create a much smoother shot. I'm going to pause this video for 1 second to tell you that this channel is supported by those of you who purchased my LUTs and creator courses over on my website, The Creator Film School. Check out my new course, which is 30 days to become a successful adventure creator. All right, back into the video. So you're basically heel toeing, trying to keep the upper body in one line of motion. And you can even put 2 hands on the gimbal if that is going to help you make it more stable. And you pair that with locking and moving forward in one direction, you're gonna have a great looking shot. The other method that you could do this is you could even go a little bit lower. Let's put it into pan follow mode so that the tilt doesn't rotate. And let's rotate the camera maybe like this. Let's try it this way. And I'm gonna do the same lock position, but I'm gonna get even lower. So I'm gonna crouch in kind of this ninja style and walk with the gimbal. And it also is going to give you a really smooth shot. So it's all about body control. It's all about getting a little bit lower, either crouching down and trying to move your body in a way where your upper body doesn't move, heel toe where you keep your back straight. You'll have a good, smooth, stable shot. Now, there are some different ways to hold this gimbal, and this is also gonna impact how smooth your footage is. So the first is upright. It's kind of like a lollipop. You hold it like this. Now, I always pull the tripod out and hold this with 2 hands. This allows me to get a much more stable shot because I'm using 2 points of contact with me, and I can use my body to have motion. Now, the other way, like I showed you in the last shot, is this way. So you could hold the gimbal sideways and it will still work well. And if I go to vertical, you could also do this. So these methods also work whether you're shooting horizontal or vertical. Now you could go underslung. So the gimbal's gonna go upside down and you could get a nice low shot. So if you want to get like a low shot to the ground, you could do that easily by going into this underslung mode. And when you switch between these 3 directions, upright, side, or down, the gimbal's gonna auto-rotate the camera or your phone to fit the best direction to be in the right position so that you can shoot in any of these ways. Now, the other part I wanna talk about when it comes to getting good looking footage is intentionality. So you've kind of seen that just when I was walking around this structure, even with this one shot of pushing forward. If you're finding this cool place, it's an abandoned structure and you wanna film it, well, just going all over the place doesn't look very good. But let's put a series of shots together and let's use some of the tools that we have in this to be able to put this little scene together. So I'm gonna put you over here, put you pretty far away so you can see everything that's going on. And we're gonna shoot this scene together. So let's come up with a 5-shot sequence. So first, it's me arriving to the scene. Let's put the camera over here, and I'm using the 7 so I don't have the extendable tripod, but I'm gonna put it down here over on this rock. I'm gonna hit record, and now we're gonna walk into the scene. So I'm gonna go this way, and then this will be the arriving shot. So I'm walking into the scene, not moving the gimbal, I'm just using the tripod in the bottom of it. Do a little acting, look around. Cool. So we got 1 shot. Let's get another shot. Let's switch the mode and maybe the lens. Let's play around with some longer shots. So I'll go to a 1 and let's switch it to pan follow and let's just get some detail shots. So I was here, let's look up here. It's like, whoa, what is this cool thing? So I'm just gonna do an arc from left to right, spinning around. This column will go down here. So I'm gonna double click the trigger, recenter. Then I'm gonna bring the camera down and I'm gonna use the same pan follow mode, try to get my shadow out of it. And then I'm gonna do a similar rotation from left to right, but now I'm pointing down, putting the gimbal kind of at the limit of where it can go. And then let's do 1 more shot. So it'd be like a 3-shot sequence of what I'm looking at when I arrive. And let's go from top to down. So I'm gonna actually put this in pan tilt follow so I could point up and then come down as I'm looking down this column as I kind of rotate around to the right. Okay, so now we got 2 shots. The second is a 3-shot sequence, but it's basically I walk up, I look at these 3 things. Now let's reveal the space that we're in, the full space. So we're gonna go to a wide lens. We're gonna lock the gimbal. So that shot I showed you earlier where we were pushing in, let's do that same shot, but let's do it from this angle here. So we could see the full structure. And actually, let's turn this upside down. Let's get low to the ground. Let's tilt up slightly and let's lock it. And now I'm gonna try to ninja walk in, creating a cool shot as I sweep past these little columns, revealing the whole scene that we're in. Now, as an option, I'm gonna go backwards and do the reverse. So I'm gonna work my way backwards and see if I could get a really cool shot that reveals the scene with this wide lens. All right, so now let's check this footage. One thing when you're out filming, you often get in the habit of just like filming, but then if you don't actually check the footage that you shot, you might not have gotten the shot. So sometimes it's good to just stop, watch your clips, make sure that you got the footage that you need. So it looks like I got the shot that I want. All right, so we got these 3 kind of specific shots that show the scene. Let's get something a little bit different. Maybe I want to have me in the shot looking around, but I want to do it from a different perspective. So what could we do here? There's nothing really high that I could get up on besides these columns, and maybe that is what we'll do. So let me go up to this one. There's a spot that I could probably put this gimbal, and let's switch back to horizontal mode. Let's go back to the camera, and now we've got a shot kind of pointing down here. So to show some sequencing, I came in, I looked around, I saw it, and then I'm gonna go explore it. So I'm gonna continue the scene forward. So I'm gonna walk in and start looking at all this stuff, but you're seeing it from this perspective up high. So let me do it again where I'm not talking. Now, I want to get a couple more shots. One, me exiting the scene, so we'll do it on that trail over there. And then a couple bigger shots showing the surrounding using more gimbal motion. So first, let's get a shot of me walking away. And so I'm doing this with my long 3x lens, and I'm just going to walk away. So that will be a really good exiting shot for this scene. But I'm noticing over here, there is some pretty cool shots of like the ocean in the distance and just like the beauty of the surrounding area. So I'm actually gonna climb up on this little hill over here and grab just a panning shot. So the idea behind this panning shot is I'm gonna stay in one place. I'm gonna put it into pan follow mode and then rotate from left to right. I'm gonna put it in wide lens. So I'll do one here so you can see what the shot is gonna be. But it's just a slow panning shot showing the scene. So let me go grab that and then we'll finish this up. And you know, I'm up here, I could see a different perspective of this view from up top. So I'm gonna do another shot. And you know, being able to shoot on this front facing camera does give you that ability to, like, once in a while, if you're trying to film with yourself, just jump over, film yourself. So for me, I'm doing this sequence where I'm not really vlogging, but it's easy to pop over and vlog. And you can see I'm doing that here with this. Just gonna grab a shot of the scene. And yeah, I think this is kind of a cool perspective. Maybe this is how I'll start the scene. So what I'm gonna do is actually walk from left to right this way in this grass, trying to get some foregrounded elements. It's kind of like that shot I showed you earlier of the lake with the foregrounded elements, using some inspiration. We're gonna do a pan across. I'm gonna do a dolly shot, so left to right. I'm gonna lock it by holding the trigger, and we're gonna see foreground movement with the, you know, archway in the distance. Let's do this. So there's one more shot that I wanna try and get, and that is this POV. So we've been getting all these cool shots that really show this space, but I think when I was walking around, I was kind of looking up and down. And so this is where you can be a little bit more free with your motion because it's intentional. So because I've established this kind of cinematic sequence, when I am like looking around and you have this shot where I'm, you know, here and you see me looking around, well, it gives me the ability to then show a shot where I'm looking around POV. And it feels like you're in my shoes. So let's switch over to the FPV mode and let's do this. So I'm gonna come over here, act like I just walked in. I'm gonna do a wide lens, and now I'm gonna walk and, you know, not try to be too crazy with it, but give me a little bit of this POV where I'm looking at stuff. You know, I came over here and I looked at all the broken bits. I looked up here, down here, you know, and then I noticed, oh, there's a trail over there. So I'm gonna stop. And that gives me some direction that I walk out down that trail. So now let's put all that together with a little bit of music, try to use some of the audio from the ambience when I was out here filming, and let's cut this sequence together. So the things you want to think about when you're out filming is how you're moving the gimbal to get that smooth footage, which mode that you're in and how you're holding it, and then ultimately your intentionality. So why are you shooting each shot and how are you going to use it when you get to the edit? That is the most important thing when it comes to working with a gimbal, and especially with a smartphone gimbal, because smartphones will stabilize your footage and you can get great shots just by hand holding, but having a gimbal gives you that ability to create some more dynamic looking footage, and it gives you the ability to be more intentional and be able to hold this in different ways and move it in different ways so you can get these really interesting shots and it's all completely stable. If you want to watch the full beginner's guide on how to use your DJI Osmo Mobile 7 or 7P, make sure you click this video right here. I'll see you on the next one.